Alive.
Beautiful. Well, good morning to you, sir,
Morning to you, sir.
and good afternoon or good evening to anyone who might be watching this at
In
some
the
other point in
afternoon.
time or from a different time zone.
Yep. Or country or what have you.
Wild. So, welcome back to This Podcast Will Become Your Tomb. We're continuing on through Sleep Token's discography. If I'm not mistaken, we are picking it back up with The Way That You Were. And then we're
That's
going to
correct.
get at least one, maybe two songs from Sundowning. And that's kind of the plan, the loose plan, as such as it is for the day.
Yes.
Um, all right. Any comments or questions from the peanut gallery before we get going?
Peanut Gallery doesn't appear to be here yet, so none at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Would you like to speak for the peanut gallery?
The Peanut Gallery wishes the baby well.
No. Thank you, Peanuts.
And they also tend to like Token Pony.
Well, the classic
I know,
character
right? I
from
think
from the ancient lore.
exactly.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right.
All right.
Well, then
Well,
I guess
let's kick it off.
let's just do it.
Does The Way That You Were have a music video or is it?
It does.
Oh, well, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Or well, we'll see if it does today, but it should.
It once did.
We are not young enough to know how to sit and say nothing like we would. And you are too tired to control how you look like you feel like you should. When you think I don't notice the way that you wear and act like you don't feel it, the way that you wear and you barely believe it, the way that you wear. And I am so ready.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So I think that's the second verse. So, uh, any thoughts so far?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you wanted to start briefly with the like we talked a lot last time about the different organ
Mm.
sounds and the different possible like keyboards they were using to make those. I don't know if you wanted to say anything about like the connection to this as opposed to like the one that's in Jaws or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously, I think, going for some kind of a church organ sound. Um, Not necessarily like full on giant pipe organ. It's almost like a Hammond B3 or something like that, like the baseball stadium organ, kind of. It's a little bit less cheesy than that, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but it's got like this really nice balance between um, sustains and all of the cool mixing overtones and stuff that you get with an organ and the like percussive start to each note. So there's it's almost what like an electric piano is going for as far as like the attack on the note. Like there's this really clean start to each note and then it's got this really wonderful sustain that goes along with it. And also as with Hammond B3, which is commonly has like a rotary type of speaker on it, so that like the speaker actually has some built-in parts that spin, so that you get this sort of like warbly effect. And there's a little bit of that going on in here, whether it's post processing or what, I don't know. But there's a little bit of that, which kind of adds to the size of the sound, makes it sound like it's kind of echoing off the walls of a big church or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess I wanted to kind of introduce something that we're gonna be dealing with, I think, through most of the Sundowning, and then probably following that too, as far as some Jungian notions.
Oh, okay.
Basically, I think that there's so Jung, Jung, Carl Jung, the psychologist, mythologist, literary uh, analyst, has some concepts that might be helpful in kind of understanding, or at least to a way to look at what's going on with this song, right?
Hmm.
There's an idea of the anima or the animus, which is kind of the interior notion of the other inside yourself. And so the idea that there is, in order to be properly integrated into a fully functional human psychologically and within relation to the world, there needs to be some incorporation of this projection of the other kind of embodied in yourself. So in some sense, it's kind of like a ritualistic thing almost. The idea that we're taking in something beyond ourselves and we're trying to integrate that with ourselves. And I think the initial verse kind of goes into that to some extent, right?
Hmm.
We're not young enough to know how to sit and say nothing like we would, and you're still too tired to control how you look like you feel like you should. You think I don't notice. So there is this idea of the other and the projection and the noticing of the other and the reflection of the other in the self. And I guess we'll go when we get to the second verse and things about the wounding and the trauma and the taking off your bandages and kind of revealing and integrating the past trauma and the wound in a kind of ritualistic sense. It kind of moves further into the a Jungian notion of integration and of advancement. And I think if we're talking about like the idea of vessel and the deity in this kind of embodying each other, this possession, this ritual, this consuming, that it's easy to see a way that this is kind of related to the same integration, the same notion of integration. And we'll go through that more in the future, but that's kind of just a little taste and flavor to kind of look at the first verse through, maybe.
Okay. That's a lot to chew on. Okay.
It's a whole mouthful.
All right. I'm going to just back up maybe to the chorus. We'll take it. Yeah. All right. Cool. Think about that while we listen to some more.
When you think I don't notice the way that you wear and act like you don't feel it, the way that you wear and you barely believe it, the way that you wear.
Okay. So
Hmm.
I think one really effective thing, something that I like about this is almost like at every transition from a verse to a chorus and in and out of the sections, uh, everything drops out completely for a moment before it starts over, which, I mean, that's something that we've already seen them do arrangement wise for some of the heavier songs is like the build up to a really heavy part and then it'll drop so that when the beat drops for the heavier section, it's more effective. But this is a much more sparse, not big heavy song at all, totally opposite sort of a thing. So it's almost like, to me it feels like the like having the air sucked out of my lungs or something. It's like I can't catch my breath. Uh, like you get all of this long sustained harmony from the organ and everything, and then it all just, and then you sort of get a little bit more. But it's this, I don't know, like heart wrenching drop, sort of.
Well, and kind of to that point too, you're talking about before the notion of the space of the kind of cathedral we're located in the church organ and everything that's building up that sense of the space being filled,
Yeah,
and then to collapse it all down to that complete stop, only to fill it back up again is more effective because there is like a sonic, a soundscape that you're kind of inhabiting.
yeah.
It's not just, it's not just, music being played at Woodstock. It's like a space that's being created by the sound and the
Mhm.
textures, and then it's going away and then filling that space back up again.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was sort of, this is the first time this has ever happened listening to this song for me, where because I think because of your question about the organ sounds and everything, maybe just triggered this, but it felt much more like if you've ever been to a funeral at like a cathedral at a like a Catholic funeral mass or something like that. There's often a lot of organ music going on, as everybody's like going up for the viewing and to pay their respects and all that sort of stuff. And it's very much this kind of somber. There's light and dark. There's some joy mixed in, because our dearly departed has gone on to a better place or whatever. And so the organ music is going to try to capture some of that mix of emotions, um, to facilitate that process of mourning or whatever. Um, and I was kind of struck by that, especially in the second verse and into the second chorus. That like that was really how I was hearing the organs at that point. Is that the tone? It was not like the cheesy baseball field organ and not the big raucous church organ. It's this understated sort of like for a funeral service kind of, yeah. And I think that
Well, I think,
goes to what you were saying.
yeah, I totally agree. And I think too, especially as we get into the lyrics of the second verse, the idea of, because part of the whole Jungian thing too is part of that incorporation of the persona or the animus, that which is outside of you being incorporated into yourself, acknowledges both kind of a death of the projection of your false views of reality into the world, the way you would want the world to be,
Mm.
an acknowledgement of the way the world is, and then kind of that integration, that supplanting of, the idealized version of the world into the reality. And there is kind of a death and a rebirth that goes on, in the inner life, the psyche, the soul, the spiritual being of the human, that goes through that journey and through that progression.
Mm.
And so I think it's very interesting, though, the way the verse opens, to tear the knife from what once would have been dead fingers. So you have this very weird subjunctive,
Mm.
tense that's being used here. What once would have been dead fingers. So they're not now dead fingers, and they only would have been that potentiality was never fulfilled. But then we have the great imagery, lying blue against the floor, and you will no longer stand between collapsing walls wearing a smile, like you cannot bear it anymore. I think it's just very interesting too in the Jungian notion, the idea that we're projecting to the outside world this mask, this facade, this persona of wholeness, of completeness, but we haven't integrated like the shadow, the evil, the all the fractured parts of human identity into ourselves yet. So I think a very apt image for that is the standing between collapsing walls, wearing a smile like you can't bear it anymore. Like there's a level of performativity to like standing in collapsing walls and wearing a smile. It's kind of, it's almost paradoxical, but it's proving the point about these almost diametrically opposed notions of ourself and the world, and how these kind of have to be integrated or embodied in order to get through it in a proper, not proper is not the right word, in an integrated manner that allows one to survive in society and not be a complete wreck, spiritually and psychologically.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. So, um, I know like Jung wrote a lot. Is is there like a particular place in Jung's writing that one could go to find some kind of a, well, him covering this sort of material in particular,
There,
or
there is. 1 second. Let me, I have it right here in my, I have the whole PDF here. Let me, real quick.
okay.
Let me get the citation.
I mean, I don't need a specific citation.
Well, no,
just
but
like,
you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Do, 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 do. Yeah, so it's in Ion, Aion,
yeah.
psychological types, and archetypes and collective consciousness are the two places where this really, I think if you want to start off, archetypes in the collective unconscious
Hmm.
is probably the best, the most accessible Jungian thing to read, especially if we're talking about like mythology. And Jung floats this very interesting notion in that work about what myth is. That myth in general is the collective unconsciousness of humanity. It's it's an unspoken but collectively acknowledged history of human development, human society, human culture, that whether we're living in 2026 or 1800 or 1400 or 800 or 800 BC, right? The collective experience of humanity is kind of undergirding all of our interaction with reality and interaction with the world. And myths are an expression of that collective unconscious.
Hmm. Okay.
And to the point is, so let me give you a concrete example, is myths oftentimes deal with a moment of cultural trauma, cultural devastation, something that is very dangerous to society or to life as a whole or to a culture. So, for example, the myths about the Trojan War, or the myths about the Trojan War and the heroes, and how the gods were intervening in the war, and the only reason that, and how you don't piss off the gods because you have to do proper sacrifice, because otherwise they're going to screw you up and none of your soldiers will get home. You have to sacrifice more virgins. It becomes a problem because the idea is that the war against Troy from the Greeks is a culturally devastating moment. Less than 1/3, according to historical accounts, of the soldiers who went to Troy from Greece came back. So it's almost like a World War I level population and cultural catastrophe, that all of a sudden all the lords and all the young men were all dead over in Troy in Turkey. And Greece was in a deep moment of crisis because none of the leaders and very few of the young men even made it back from Troy, and it was a multi-generational conflict. And so the fact this is embodied in a myth that gives the story of the different heroes and the gods intervening and kind of gives an explanation through Helen's capture by Paris and yada yada yada, right, is a mythical explanation and a parsing over which was a deep moment of cultural and civilizational crisis for the Greek city-states.
Mhm.
And so that kind of gets encoded in this collective unconscious myth that explains why everything went so sideways and crazy and why things are for a number of generations following that time period, right?
Right.
So unhinged in Greece itself.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
that's its
Yeah. Okay. And like, so in that understanding of what myth is, um, what are the gods like? Because I know that like Jung develops this idea of the archetypes a lot, and I know that that is in some way related to the gods. Um, my understanding is that it's sort of like the. No, I haven't really read much Jung myself, so this is my understanding.
Well, you play instruments, so that's, forgivable.
Okay. Um, but that similar to what your description of what myth is this kind of distillation of this event so that it can be explained across generations, so the lessons learned can be carried on, and they function for other things too. But that's sort of was my takeaway. The gods are kind of these distillations of the main active forces in those myths. So it's sort of like there are all of these characters that you mentioned, but you could kind of distill certain aspects of their characters all together into one figure, and that figure would be a god. Like you could take all of the people acting justly and distill them all down into the character of Athena, who's gonna go and make sure that retributions are dealt out according to people's actions and all that sort of thing. But I don't know, is there anything more to say?
So I think archetypes, like you were saying, are kind of the embodiment of a specific, kind of like the purification and distillation of a specific attribute that occurs across cultures, across the human experience, across time frames. So, for example, you have like the archetype one Jung talks about of Eros, who's the god of love and lust,
Right.
right? And there'll be some sort, whether or not you call it Eros or whether or not you call it Isis or whether or not you call it Kalika in the Hindu tradition, right? The goddess that embodies this unbalanced, lustful desire between humans. That becomes an archetype that represents an unbalanced, unintegrated human passion, human activity, human motivation for their actions in the world. And so archetypes are ways that we explain a certain pattern of behavior or a certain innate human attribute that's kind of been honed away and is focused on being only that thing, but to the nth degree. And so you'll have different archetypes, like the child, the mother, the father, that have these different attributes that kind of accrue to them over time. But the thing is that about the archetype is the archetype itself, as far as Jung is concerned, is the same across all cultures and across all human history. It just takes a different name or a different form relevant to what that culture's set of circumstances, history, and beliefs are at any given point in time.
Sure. Okay. That really that makes a lot of sense in this discussion about like what the heck sleep is in Sleep Tokens mythology, because like that's more or less from that really in-depth interview that we got in the first podcast, like for Metal Hammer talking to Vessel about, it's like, what the heck are you guys doing with all these masks and satanic looking rituals and stuff? But like that explanation that sleep is this old god, this almost like Cthulhu type thing that is sort of like leaked down through the ages, and that it kind of might like rear its head as some god over here and some god over here. It sort of like pops up in different ways in different places and times, but it's sort of always present in the background, kind of a thing.
Well, and that's one thing about gods in general, going back to Greece, back to Mesopotamia, to wherever, to Mesoamerica. A god, even if they're not acknowledged for a certain point in time, all gods want to be seen and sacrificed to. The type of sacrifice varies between your culture and your god, but all gods kind of want some sort of offering that acknowledges them and acknowledges their supremacy over whatever realm they are controlling or masters of or in battlement or in battle over.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so old gods reemerge, new gods try to supplant them, the old gods fight back, and you end up with a stupid Marvel movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's a lot to consider. That's pretty cool. Um, wow. So then, I mean, because these lyrics are also active on multiple levels, there's this, I mean, like the themes of death and rebirth and all that stuff come up all over the place. But in this one, this is, I don't know if this is the first time, but the um the theme of like dealing with suicidal thoughts or something like that is also kind of recurrent throughout Sleep Token's music, or like trying to come up with some kind of a reason to continue on living or something like that.
Well, I think that goes to the integration of past traumas and past pain, whether it's psychic or mental or like physical wounding, as the imagery here kind of goes into. Also, it goes into a lot of trauma and abuse, possibly these specific lyrics in this song, right?
Mhm.
But the idea of how does one integrate that past trauma and past suffering, especially as the third verse here gets into, at the hands of others that one didn't deserve, undeserved pain, undeserved trauma in an unjust world that leaves scars and damage both internally and externally. Like, what are we to fucking do with that?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's a topic of a lot, like you're saying, a lot of Sleep Token songs, and whether or not it gets to the point of potential suicidal ideation if it's not integrated, or whether or not it's just leaves one in a state of, exhaustion and unable to effectively engage with the world around you, as we kind of see here too, right? And the notion that you kind of have to deal with the damage, like, will you show me the damage the way that you were, right? How much they hurt you the way that they were, with pain as your language. Like, you kind of have to make the pain and suffering and trauma integrated into yourself and like speak it as a language so that you can like integrate it and also be recognized. And that's a fucking tall task, because trauma is a wound that like doesn't want to reveal of itself, but it also keeps the entire being of the person in the wounding in a continuous cycle. And so like the only way to break that cycle is somehow to communicate about it, but that's one thing that it wants you not to do.
Right. Yeah. 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 And like deep traumas also, like it's a integrating and working through a trauma is a really sort of paradoxical type of thing, because in many ways, I mean, I encountered this a lot with my research at the a rehab center in the Peruvian Amazon, which is another story about another life. But a lot of these people, and I mean, myself and kind of everyone, I think to some extent, has that, like, they live with their trauma and it kind of becomes part of the way that they understand themselves. And in a way, like the trauma, you sort of feel like you can't let go of it, or maybe you don't want to let go of it or work through it because you don't know how to survive without it. It is kind of part of how you engage with the world. And so it's like easy to get it confused with yourself. Like the person that you have become in order to survive the trauma is not necessarily the person that you need to be to move on in the future. And like reconciling those things is a really complex paradoxical process, because you need to let go of some really deep and important and useful parts of yourself in order to distance yourself from the trauma or to understand it better and then reintegrate it. But it's, I don't know. I do think that whole process is being dealt with here and on in Sleep Tokens music. But,
Well, because if trauma becomes how you define yourself, because against all odds and through the trauma, you've gotten through it, and your body and your mind and your psyche and your spirit has survival instincts that make you very much cling to what you did to get through the trauma and still be alive.
Right.
And so to have to let go of that and just distance yourself or integrate that part of yourself, which was the only thing that kept you alive and kept you functional during traumatic moments, you're trying to let go of the very thing that kept you going through the worst times. And at the same time, it's something you need to integrate properly to move on and function at a higher level or to progress through your own development. But it's a place of complete vulnerability when you're being asked to let go of those very mechanisms that kept you going through the worst of it.
right.
And then, but that's just the whole hero's journey too, right? Almost is you need to overcome the very tethers that are keeping you going in order to actually progress and develop. And so it's a paradox. And it takes at some point a leap in faith that you believe that you can let go of that which kept you alive in order to move past your present self into a more integrated and whole human being.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy, man.
It is. I mean, it is as a type of death.
Absolutely.
Which, yeah, I mean, and we haven't even addressed the music video at all, but I think it goes right along with all of this stuff that we've been talking about. And maybe I'll back it up and we can just watch and listen to a bit of it, because I think this music video is really interesting and worth trying to grapple with.
Let's knock it out.
Yeah. And then I guess just before we go in, that one more comment about the music, just like the details of the music, and then I think I don't really have a whole lot else to say about the music in this one. There is more to say, but I'm not going to. So they're kind of like basically there's a verse part and a chorus part, more or less, and for these organ chords. And one of the interesting things that it does, and that you can take advantage of the organ, is that it's got these like sustained upper notes. They're not super high pitched, but they're higher in pitch than what the other stuff that's going on. And is this okay? So it's got these moving lines. And then it hangs on this sustained chord while it moves underneath it. And so, like, what you'll hear, which is what I'm trying to point out, is that there's this contrast of sustaining and motion. And what's happening especially in the chorus, it's a little bit in both parts, but mostly in the chorus, that there's this, like, sustained note it's a D, I think. And so, like, whether it's in the pedals on the organ or what, I don't know. I don't play organ. But this higher note is sustained while all this other stuff is moving underneath it. And so it sort of, I don't know, integrates maybe musically kind of mimics this stuff that we're talking about, of like being stuck in one place while you're trying to move forward. And it sounds very somber, even when it like is playing major harmonies that might seem happier, because it's kind of like combining some really straightforward like major and minor chords in a couple of places. Let me see if I can remember how this goes. There's some like little tensions is the wrong word. I don't think they're really like adding tension, but there's like trying to think of like a I think that's how the intro verse part goes. So something like that. There's this motion, and then it, in the verse part, it hangs on to this note, which is a B, while the other stuff moves. Sorry, I'm not speaking very articulately while I'm trying to remember how this goes.
No, you're fine. So like there's that sustained note, and while that is still sustained and going, other stuff is happening beneath it while that stays consistent.
Right.
I'm tracking.
Okay. But within that, so like these chords are pretty straightforward. But it starts with what you could hear is something of a tension note. So at the beginning, we don't really have a sense of grounding in a key or anything like that. And this song is kind of in the key of G or E minor. And instead of starting with just like a plain old E minor chord, it mixes in that note D that gets sustained. So it makes it like an E minor 7 chord. And then this would be a B minor chord, but it's inverted. So B is not in the bass.
Okay. And that D is being sustained?
It stays, yeah. So D is a note in both of those chords.
Neat.
And then it lands on... okay, this is one of the things that I was thinking about. So it lands on what seems like a C chord, but it sort of like... it steps out of it in a higher part in the... So it adds like a little bit of extra color to what would have been just kind of a boring chord. And then this is a G major chord. And this is where that sustained note comes in. This is a B. And then this is a D major chord, but again, it's inverted. So even though it would be like a really happy, kind of almost grand sounding sort of a chord, with that inversion, it like makes it sound almost minor. It's like it highlights the darker characters within the chord.
Sombrifies it.
Yeah, sombrifies it. There we go.
Technical term.
And then that steps down to like a full-on E minor chord that's really, just kind of desperate and sad sounding to me.
Right.
Okay. And then
sorry.
No.
Real quick, we had Ryan from last week is back in the chat.
All right.
He says, he says, my girlfriend relates to this song more the admitting of the effects of trauma than an attempt to integrate, as if I see you is important to a soul that would rather disappear. It's profound. No, absolutely. And that's part of, I think, the whole, you see that in the lyrics. Where the heck is it? Come on, tear off the bandage, the way that you were, with pain is your language, the way that you were. Will you show me the damage? Like the wound itself has like a longing somehow, as much as it wants to hide, to be seen and to be experienced and to have recognition from the other, to see the wound and to not reject the person because of the wound, right?
Yeah.
And I think that I see you part is very much an important part of the integration of the inner workings, the anima, with the outside projection, the facade or the mask or the persona, that really is part of the journey from trauma to not trauma, or to being less traumatized than one previously was. So that's really very relevant. Ryan Scarlett says, that Scarlett has not heard the specific song in a while, and we have an interesting perspective on it. Oh yeah, and actually, Scarlett, the first 3 podcasts we covered every single and EP prior to the Sundowning. So you have some homework to do, Scarlett. But we already done it for you though.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's our perspective. I mean, sometimes the weaving of conspiracy theories seems like it really fits and like we're onto something, but who knows?
We could be
It's
totally wrong.
meaningful to us.
Yes. We promise you that we're saying things that are meaningful to us.
Yeah. That I can guarantee.
All right.
Yeah,
So some music
very cool.
video rewatch?
Yeah. I'm gonna let's see. I don't know. Is it worth just going through the whole thing one time uninterrupted? Just
I mean,
to watch the music video?
sure, it's not very long.
It's not very long.
We are not young enough to know how to sit and say nothing like we would. And you are too tired to control how you look like you feel like you should. When you think I don't notice the way that you wear and act like you don't feel it, the way that you wear and you barely believe it, the way that you wear.
Okay, I know I said I wasn't gonna interrupt it, but I'm interrupting.
Lies.
Yeah. So it is a D. That note that's sustained, I think, as hopefully it does the same thing the second time through the chorus. But as you get into the chorus, there's a lot of stuff going on, vocal parts and everything, but in the organ part, that note is just held out the entire chorus, while everything else is kind of going on, moving around it. So just something to listen for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Continuing on. Sorry, everybody.
And I am so ready to tear that knife from what once would have been dead fingers lying blue against the floor. And you will no longer stand between collapsing walls, wearing a smile like you can't bear it. And tear off the bandage, the way that you were, with pain as your language, the way that you were, when you showed me the damage, the way that you were.
Good old Loki Films.
Yes, sir. So I
Yeah,
think and that's the same actress from the Nazareth/Jaws video too, right?
I think so.
I believe it's
I
yeah.
I believe so.
I wonder if she
Have
has
to go back
some.
and check, but
It is. Trust me on that.
okay. Oh, all right.
I wonder if they have some if she's somebody somehow in the orbit of the vessels.
Of the vessels. Um, I think I don't know if it's her, but I'm remembering from that interview on what's that other podcast? There's another sleep token podcast. Some sleep talking. I think that's what the
Sleep.
podcast is called.
There you go.
Something like that. They interviewed the guy who directed and produced these music videos, and I think it might be his girlfriend or wife.
Okay, I figured there was some kind of.
Yeah, because I
I
think
mean, she fits.
she's
She
an
fits
actor.
well.
Yeah,
She fits well with the theme. Like her look and her aesthetic fit well.
yeah, yeah. So okay, at the end of the video, um, like after this part here, it's like she disappears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was like never there, or he's at her funeral, or what? I'm just trying to understand like what.
I mean, the way that the video came off to me, at least, and I could, this is just my like viewing it, right?
Mhm.
It reminds me of like someone in church, like about to go to confession, or in church looking for this kind of out of their depth with what's going on, and like just looking for some sort of higher power or something to
Okay.
to intervene. And so if it's a because in like Catholic confession, right? You sit there in, or you kneel there in the church the way she's doing. You do an examination of conscience. You consider everything that you've done wrong in the last time, since the last time you've heard your confession. You kind of make a list, and then you get up and you go into the priest and you confess your sins, and then he gives you absolution. Then you come out and say your penance, and then you bounce out. So it kind of looks like that kind of like reflective, reticent sort of thinking that she's doing. Alternatively, you can go to the church because that's apparently where God lives, and try to talk to him about, how fucked up things are.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's the kind of notion that I got from her affect as well as her presence in there. But yeah, she does. Um, I don't. Doesn't vanish. She's just not there after a certain point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I do think there's maybe it's a funeral or something. I don't know. The flowers, like a flower is
Mhm.
as a symbol of life, and there are broken flowers on the floor. There's some kind of like a death being dealt with or something. I mean, maybe just trauma, some kind of broken damage to life or something like that. But like, let's see if I can.
I think there's that last verse, like with the broken flowers, the imagery kind of comes in mimetically, right? How much did they hurt you the way that you were? How much did they break you the way that you were? How far did they take you the way that you were?
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't think it's necessarily a death, or at least it's not a death that does not have the potential for rebirth,
Okay.
even though it's kind of the low point.
Well, yeah, I think, in, especially in Sleep Token, there's always potential for a rebirth, but
Yeah, that's what they do.
that's what they do. I'm just trying to find that.
When I saw the flowers.
Yeah, I saw the flowers. I didn't get the broken flowers, and it looks like it's the same kind of flower from the Jaws/Nazareth
Yeah,
video.
no cockroach this time though.
Right, but even like the cockroach, what's the significance of that? I was thinking, I mean, cockroaches are often attracted by like dead things, rotting meat, those sorts of things. And it's like in that video, the cockroach is like on and next to and around a flower. And then in
Well,
this
and the girl,
video,
that cockroach is climbing all
well,
over the
right.
girl too.
Right. Well, okay. Yeah. But like that's kind of the girl and the flower are metaphorically
Same.
interchangeable.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay. Well, I don't know. You all have YouTube, I assume. If you're watching this, you've got YouTube or Spotify. You can find the
We're
flower
not live
stuff.
on Spotify, so
We're not. Um, okay. But yeah, I mean, he's like sitting behind her, watching her, singing this song to her, and right before she fades away, he's like reaching out to try to contact her
yeah.
at the end, and then she gone.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like stalker vessel. It's a little creep. But
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you think about it kind of in a way, right? If he is like the vessel in that Metal Hammer interview, they are like the ambassadors for the deity of sleep, and they're, looking for new acolytes, sort of. And maybe a way that this could be viewed, and I'm not saying this is definitive or correct, but that the level of trauma and the level of disintegration and the hurt, right, is a fertile ground to go find new acolytes for your deity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how the Christians get you. That's how you know,
Right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it looks like.
it looks like he's playing a stand-up bass there too, which is interesting.
Yeah. So what? Okay, I don't know about that.
There's a part where he looks like he's sorry.
No, you're good. It looks like the call crashed, so let's just
What?
back out of Zoom real quick. And,
Okay, hang on.
Yeah. See, there we go. It crashed.
Okay, technical difficulties. Stand by.
No, I don't need you to do that. Thanks. Hey, look, it's my flower. Aaron will be right back, everyone. Just give us a moment. Hello, Aaron? Oh, still crashed. Ah, the joys. The joys of technology. There he is. Maybe. Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Back.
Began.
Okay.
Well, I know you're all here for the high production quality, so
Very professional. No mistakes.
spare no expense. Spare no expense.
There are no expenses to be spared.
All right.
Okay.
So I guess that was the divine in trying to communicate to us that move on. It's like the vaudeville hook.
Might be time.
Might be time for the sundown.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, for sundowning. Okay. All right. Any thoughts to wrap up on that? I don't have any conclusions about the music video. I think like the I don't know, I have to think about it more and we'll maybe circle back to it in the future.
Absolutely.
Unless anyone
Yeah, anyone in chat have any
has-
thoughts or ideas, notions?
What do
I mean,
you
anything we
make of
didn't
all
cover,
this?
disagree with us, agree with us, random thoughts, hypotheses,
Pancake
Starbucks
recipes?
orders, pancake recipe, yeah, same, any of the above. Go ahead and cue
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Sundowning. Well, because I mean, they might be typing furiously with their like dissertation length hypotheses about various branches of mythological interpretation. Joseph Campbell, Carl Jung, Kierkegaard, who knows? Well,
Who knows?
what's this?
Was
Oh, that's the way you were. I guess. Oh, nothing. I was looking at the YouTube stream and I was like, oh, wait,
Oh, okay.
because it was showing the video. It's a little delayed. So,
Oh yeah.
okay. So Ryan said it's progression hard to witness while experiencing. That's fair.
Mm,
Like, yeah, because it takes like reflection and integration, like to like try to incorporate all these disparate things that are, freaking going on.
yeah. No, I think that's right on.
Bravo, Ryan, as usual.
Yeah. Okay. So, you're welcome. If you've got any other thoughts, please leave them in the chat. I think we're gonna move on
Yeah,
to
we'll circle back
Sundown.
and hit him if we
Yeah,
if we
definitely.
can. Also, if y'all, I mean, I hate to be a whore, but I'm a whore. If anybody who's here in the chat or just watching wouldn't mind hitting the little thumbs up button, it funnels more people in here. We can get more discussion going. Doesn't cost you anything. If not, it's all good. But just wanted to
Yeah,
whore myself out for a second.
I guess we should do that more. That's part of the content creation thing. Yeah, I don't know.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Okay. So, Sundowning. Sleep Token's first full-length album, LP,
hmm
the long play.
So Ryan's excited for the offering. We'll see if we get to the offering.
Yeah, we'll see. We just spent an hour and a half
An
talking
hour
about one
on
song.
it.
So,
Wow.
yeah, we'll do the best we can.
Totally worth it.
Right. That's always worth it. So I'm assuming that anyone here would probably know at least some of the basics of Sundowning, the concept and that kind of underlies this album. But so I don't know. Do you want to say something about the phenomenon of sundowning, or would you like me to wing it?
You can do it more succinctly. So just
Okay.
give the
Sure.
basic primer.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
don't want to talk
So
for
this
an
is
hour on that.
right. So sundowning it refers to a phenomenon that's fairly common for people who suffer from dementia or Alzheimer's, and some other disorders that affect people mentally. That as nighttime approaches, they become sometimes less coherent. They might regress to a past version of themselves and lose some memories, except for extreme long-term memories. But it is, in a nutshell, basically a losing of oneself as the transition from day into night occurs. And usually lucidity will return to a certain degree the next morning. So that's the short version. Yeah.
Cool. So to interrupt,
Please.
so Ryan just clarified. He was asking a question. What is the offering? Is it the mask or the man? And I think in a Jungian sense, that makes lots of sense. But also there's that Metal Hammer interview where they're saying the music is the offering and your interaction with the music is the offering. So you are the offering and we are the offering and the music and the connection is the offering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So yes, Ryan, and
Yeah. Yes, and yeah, I think it's
we'll cross back to that.
yeah, we'll cross back. We'll circle around to that again. I think this is kind of what I was trying to say about this like deep identification with the traumatized self, like the self deeply identifying with the trauma and kind of reconstituting the self as you work through trauma, is that some aspects of both have to be offered up in order and sort of die in order to be reborn to work through the process. So I think on multiple levels, yes, and it's the music and it's the man and it's the mask, but yeah. Okay, so the first track on Sundowning is "The Night Does Not Belong to God." So, that's an interesting take on what happens during the process of sundowning.
Right.
And there's a music video, there's a visualizer for each track on this album. And I have not looked into it at all, but there's also some kind of like a combinatory runic symbol that goes along with each visualizer, and I don't know what any of them mean. I haven't looked into it, so
we'll have R&D get on that.
Yeah, well, if anyone has any insights into that or where we could find some information about it, that'd be much appreciated. But yeah.
Also, if you love lava lamps, you're in for a treat.
Definitely.
Because that's the visualizers are kind of lava lampy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're really beautiful. Yeah. Okay, so the night does not belong to God. Ready?
Yep.
Oops, little glitch. Sorry, one second.
Levels a little bit. It's a little bit shrill.
Something's freaking out. One sec. No mistakes. No mistakes here.
None, never. Totally intentional.
Yeah. Why is that happening?
You got this.
Yeah.
I guess probably if people didn't have headphones on, they probably wouldn't be
Oh, no.
hearing the...
They'd still hear that.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec here.
DJ, play that track.
Okay, well, everybody's just going to see me trying to figure this out. 1 sec. I guess I can't see the video over here.
This is special behind the scenes access right here.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll put this behind a paywall. It'll be on our Only Sleep Token fans channel.
Yep. The Only Sleep Token.
Oh, awesome. Alina Velvet says it's a whole document compiled by a fan explaining all the symbols from an alchemical perspective. Pimp.
Nice.
We will look into that.
Yes, we will. I knew someone would know something. Okay. All right, let's see if this is any better. Nope, still bad.
I got better a little bit, man. No. Hit. I think it got fixed there.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to start it over.
Yeah, please do.
It is disappointing. All right, so I'm going to start that over. We have to have a clean run at this because this is one of my favorite moments in music. So,
mine as well. This is so fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It must be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Try that. All right. We'll see if that does it.
Fingers and toes crossed.
There we go. Every time.
Sounds like in the low light, inside divine, we tangle endlessly, like lovers entwined. I know for the last time, you will not be mine. So give me the light, the light.
Okay. I gotta stop it, or
All
just
right.
gonna go the whole way through.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna sit there and like jam on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I do think I figured out the problem though. Too late.
Well, good.
Yeah.
We'll be set from here on
Go
out.
back. Yeah. Okay. So, there's so much going on in the music. I have to really pick and choose what to talk about.
We'll go ahead.
So, first of all, just like the tone that they've chosen for this synthesizer thing that's it's starting the whole song out, and it's sort of fading in, is incredible. It has this digital and organic kind of a tone to it at the same time. It has almost like the attack of like a guitar pick, but all of the resonance and sustain of like a multi-layered synthesizer sound, and it comes in with a filter, a high frequency filter that like gradually reveals the higher frequencies as it's all kind of cycling through this this theme. And what's going on with this theme is I hear two melodies that are like weaving around each other. So I hear and I also hear, and as they grow, then they step down and then meet back at the start. So, it's amazing. It's beautiful, and it also is again doing this kind of like mimetic thing. It's like the interweaving of vessel and sleep, or of day and night, it all kind of like in this one theme, and that's just wonderful. It's kind of
It's
like
beautiful.
the economy of words that he's able to use in writing some of these like incredible lines. He does similar things with music also, where like that's not incredibly complex or difficult, but it just does the thing so well. I can't imagine like a more beautifully pieced together thing.
No, and it's that dissonant doo-doo that drop note. I don't know I'm not a musician. I don't know what the fuck you call it, but that doo-doo, that whatever that is, it just like it's it is it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. That's it. But then it also like you get the low chords that come in. It's just incredible. And they do another one of those like reverse reverb fade things at the start of every one of those chord drops,
Mm-hmm.
It's just the best. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to just, since I'm talking about it, I'm just going to like play that whole thing one more time from the start. And hopefully if I figured this problem out, and it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Just beautiful. Um, okay. I think I'll stop talking about music for that for the moment. Um, do you
Okay.
want to say anything about the first verse and chorus?
Yeah, you
Um,
bet. So, I mean, I know the phenomena or the condition of sundowning, as you aptly described it in the intro to the song. It's this kind of the phenomenon of people who have some cognitive deficits because of some sort of pathology, either dementia or on, you know, or some sort of condition, right? The the experience they have when the sun goes the way, and then they have different, I guess, experiences of reality that then their full consciousness and sentience returns to them in the morning. I think there's some other things that one could go on here too, from more of like from a mythic perspective a little bit as well, right? And I think it's just looking back to pr- pre-civilization ritual, or to like Bronze Age ritual in societies, right? The idea, you look at like megalithic monuments, Stonehenge or Göbekli Tepe, or things that are oriented towards sun cycles, that there very much was a notion that, and also just the way that agrarian societies function in general, is that everything happens during the sun. Like as soon as the sun goes down, no work can be done. You're also kind of in fear and need to go back to like the, the huts or whatever, because of fear of like predators, dire wolves, or what have you. And so the idea too that there is some notion of God being in charge of this, or the gods being in charge of the sun and the sun cycles, and the idea that we have these megalithic monuments that are tracking both lunar cycles and sun cycles. And so the idea that there is a lot of times when the sun goes down, it reveals very literally the heavens, the Pleiades, the constellations, the planets, which is a lot of times the conception of the divine, and the conception of the divine being more reachable during certain times of the year, certain cycles, when the sun goes down. And so
mhm.
I think it's very interesting that the phrase, the like, with angels at your side, in order now bestow by the light of sunrise, and you remember everything only till the sun recedes once again. So it's also the notion of sleep usually happens at night. So there's a whole separate consciousness in the interaction with the deity of sleep, possibly as well, that's going on once the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And so the night comes down like heaven. Like it's this point of hierophany, which hierophany is the this point where gods and humans can communicate. Oftentimes it's at a mountaintop or at a sacred spot where there are megalithic monuments or whatnot, right?
Mhm.
But the idea that the night comes down like heaven, like at that point in time, you can communicate more closely with the deities, whether that's through a ritual at a sacred space, or whether that's just by the act of being asleep and communicating with the deity's sleep. And so there's this integration of the divine realm with the human realm that's only possible at night, when you kind of have access to seeing what's going on in the heavens, where the gods inhabit, and they maybe come to the earth and inhabit the earth more fully than they do in the daytime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that also.
Right. Yeah, and sorry if I'm interrupting, but that's a
No, you're good.
great word to bring up, hierophany. Um, I'm mostly familiar with it through the work of Mircea Eliade, who's, I might be pronouncing his name wrong, but he wrote this sort of like huge treatise on shamanism. It's
Oh,
called Shamanism: Archaic Techniques of Ecstasy. Um, but yeah, hierophany, I think, um, more than, or maybe like, I think you phrased it as it's like when humans and the sacred can communicate or something like that. But
mhm,
um, it's a revealing of the sacred. So
right.
it's like, I think that's exactly the perfect word to go along with this process that you're describing of like the sun goes down and it reveals the heavens. That is a hierophany. That's the sun god or whatever, the main, the thing that dominates the sky during the day goes below the horizon, and this whole universe is revealed to you. That thing was blocking out. And I think that that's going on in the visualizer also. This is something I hadn't really considered about this song before, but this kind of makes sense, is there might also be some kind of like a commentary on like light pollution or something, not as like an environmental thing, but just as like a human psychological spiritual thing, that people who live in cities, which is most people these days, they don't really get to experience this thing that is like a fundamental part of being human for all of time up until post-industrial age, when artificial light dominates the nighttime. This thing that like, as everybody experienced and would understand just sort of reflexively, that at nighttime the world transforms and you get this different access to different take on the universe or something like that. And we don't really get that these days unless you seek it out for yourself. You have to go travel and get away from the cities and get away from the lights in order to have this experience. And you have to
absolutely agree. And that's like the cityscapes that are going on in the visualizer, right? Are it's very interesting because they're busy, there's cars moving, it's like kind of time lapsed, but also they kind of look in a sense almost post-apocalyptic. Like the buildings look kind of like hollowed out because of the black and white and the way it's doing its imagery, right? It's like showing the city as like a place of lack, of dearth, of want almost too. In the same way is that you lose that ability when you look up and you're in a city, you don't see no damn stars. You're lucky to see the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lack of the ability to access the heaven, the divine world, the realm of the gods is in that way very much decreased in the modern urban environment because you are unaware of it and you can't see it even if you're looking for it. One brief thing on hierophany too. So maybe the word people are more familiar with might be hierophant, which is the person who is announcing the coming of the god. The hierophant is like, there's a god here. Y'all motherfuckers better pay attention. He's coming. She's coming.
Right.
And so, and that announces the presence of the god. And like you were saying with the coming of the god.
Yeah. They're the one doing the revealing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool. They're a priest of sorts, something like that.
Yeah.
A prophet,
if you will.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then let's see. Let's do some of this. Here. Okay. So, I'm going to continue on with the song and kind of get through what I guess the second verse or post chorus. I don't know how to name these sections of this song exactly, but
yeah, it's kind of like the tonality of the voice is kind of different in the whatever comes after the first chorus. So I don't know what you want to call it, but the second, not this night comes down like heaven lines.
Well, I'm just gonna continue it from where I stopped, and we'll just
sure,
hit it again.
Inside divine, we tangle endlessly, like lovers entwined. I know for the last time, you will not be mine. So give me the night, the
Yeah. Ah.
Gorgeous.
So good. Okay. Let me see if I can find that spot. There we go. Okay. So, if my stuff will behave, I want to listen to some of those vocal harmonies.
Are you gonna isolate them?
I think so.
Cool. While you're doing the tech stuff, Ryan had a couple of comments.
All right, what's up?
So the first one Ryan said is the Sundowning syndrome may be the sacrifice. He prays to the god of dreams to take away the nightmares. The trade is the person who is made from the memories until the night when two become one. So I think what he's getting at there is kind of what we've talked about before, the ideal that vessel and the deity are merged, but kind of not merged still. There's still some kind of, they're not completely integrated yet. And in night, in sleep, is kind of when that unity occurs.
Right.
And maybe in a kind of way that like the sundowning during the day is taking away, it's various states of cognitive decline. And the night, and when the closer it gets to night, the more that decline manifests itself. But what if that decline and that losing of the self and wanting to bleed into the one unity with the deity is what the vessel, the person longs for? So that loss of self that is in sundowning with people with deleterious conditions is actually what's sought after by the supplicant wanting to merge with the deity.
Yeah.
I think that, I hope that was what Ryan was getting at, and I just bastardized what he said.
I that was kind of what I understood, but yeah, I think so. There's another, like, since we're bringing up all these Greek words and stuff, when you, in the first verse, when you live by daylight with angels at your side, I've never really known exactly what to make of that line, those lines, but since I was sort of thinking Greek, the word angelos refers to a messenger from a temple. So we might these days think of it as like, oh, it's some kind of a spirit, a good spirit from God with the wings and the halo and all that. Maybe, but it doesn't. I'm reading into this. I mean, I'm pretty confident in saying that Vessel is conversant with ancient Greek myth and all of that. So probably is aware of that contrast in usages of the word, and might be, this is like during the daytime you're encountering, it's I had always thought of it as like, oh, maybe he's talking about someone who lives a blessed life, like they've got their guardian angel with them or something like that. But now I'm thinking about it more like during the day you're encountering all of these messengers from these other gods, from these false gods, if you will, and in order now bestowed by the light of the sunrise. So they're like, there's this structure and this sort of like milieu of daytime gods and their messengers, the people who are telling you about them, that you're kind of milling around in during the day. And then this transition happens and you have your own real encounter with sleep, or with with this this god who has something to offer to you, who has some kind of a relationship specifically to you, not just the messengers from the gods, but the god itself.
Well, definitely. I think the notion of guardian angels, and like protecting you from the evil things or what have you, that are, or the other deities that are out there lurking in the world, right? The notion that maybe they're like keeping you away from the relationship you want to have with the deity that actually is um, m- more aligned with you, or is saving you, or is helping you, or whatever, right? So it's almost like the angels in that sense would be warding off the nighttime relationship with the other deities. And you can take that into a sense and talk about Dionysian or Bacchanian rituals too, or fertility cult rituals, or the island of Lesbos and the, you know, the rituals and all that too that happen at nighttime secretly in, you know, the forest, away from society, under the stars, under the constellations. But during the day, these kind of protective barriers and social constructs that might be, you know, symbolized by guardian angels, or angels being by your side guarding you from this very much more fulfilling, very much more visceral relationship and unity with a deity that happens at night,
Mm-hmm.
could be another, just to build on what you were saying.
Yeah. Right. No, I think maybe, I think that kind of makes sense with
Yeah, it could.
yeah, potentially. Okay, let me see if I found the spot.
Okay, let's see if you found that one.
The night comes down like heaven. The whites of your eyes turn like in the low light, inside divine. We tangle endlessly, like lovers entwined. I know for the last time, you will not be mine. So give me the night, the night.
Oh wow,
Yeah. Right.
that's crazy.
It is crazy. He's got a mind for like piecing together these, like his own choir of him, like all of these different moving lines and that just mesh together perfectly. It's like he's his own organ or something like that. Yeah, I don't have that kind of an understanding of. I mean, I haven't really worked at it, but it just blows my mind when I hear these things.
Well, it's fucking beautiful. And like the thing is, when you listen to the song in full, like especially that last little bit, like it's, I could not pick that out. It's imperceptible to me, that crazy variation that he does.
Right. Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like to break down these stems like this, because now that you've heard it, when you hear it back in the full texture of everything, you probably will be able to pick it out. And then also it makes even more sense and is like even more mind-blowing hearing how that fits in, not just as like a stack of vocal harmonies, but it goes along with everything else. And that's really, it's like this combination of knowledge of how to like build this complex multi-voice just vocal harmony, but that fits in with all of the other musical voices of the guitars and the synths and all that stuff. And then when there are drums happening, this is like another one of like the drummer's incredible skills, is he is able to listen to all of that and then figure out how to play these crazy complex drum parts that don't get in the way of anything. Like he fills in the gaps just perfectly, or accents the lines perfectly so that he doesn't cover them up, but like brings them out even more. Is
Right.
crazy.
Which is awesome. Ryan said mouth organ.
Mouth organ. Thanks, Ryan. That's exactly. That's what. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go through that again, and I'm gonna sort of flip back and forth between lead vocal and harmonies, and also so we could hear a little bit how those are interacting, because I think that's also interesting to.
Perfect. Rock and roll.
Well, if it'll work.
Fucking better work.
I think he's confused the stem splitter with the way that he's written these vocals. Yeah, he did. Yeah, that's cool. So
what is explain?
Sorry, yeah. What's cool is that like the way that the vocal harmonies mesh together, and partially this has to do with the way that it's been mixed and processed, but a lot to do with the way that they're written, is that this AI stem splitter software can't tell the difference between the lead vocal and the harmonies. It's just kind of like, it's all vocals, man. I don't know what to do. So just put them all on one thing. Yeah, that's interesting. So sorry, we can't do the thing that I guess wanted.
There really, but there kind of really isn't a part where the harmony is going overlapping the main vocal. It's always kind of, there's that harmony sound like the choir of vessels, but it's never overlapping. It doesn't seem like.
No, I would say that it's a lot overlapping, like in time, like they're happening at the same time, you mean, or like pitch wise?
Oh, same time, not pitch wise.
Okay. Yeah, I think they are happening at the same time, and then also I think the reason why it's having difficulty splitting them out is because they are voiced so tightly together. So they're like lots of voices, and they're kind of interweaving around each other. And I mean, I was hoping that it would at least pick out the high harmony and separate that out, but I guess not.
No dice.
No dice. Anyways, we at least get to hear all the vocals in isolation, so that's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna put it back on the full track and just listen to that same thing again, and now maybe you'll be able to hear or to parse out that vocal part.
In context,
in the full texture. Yeah, here we go. Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry.
No, just damn. Just that build and that.
Yeah.
The night.
Yeah. It's great. Okay. So in that second verse or post chorus or whatever it is, the whites of your eyes turn black in the low light, and we're back in Jaws. We're like, it's that transition into the Predator. It's when Vessel becomes the vessel of sleep. It's that, he gets shark eyes.
It's like, what's that line from Jaws? And when his eyes roll over white, he's whatever the fucking.
I don't recall.
It's the fucking fisherman guy who ends
Yeah.
up getting eaten. He's like, oh, when the shark's eyes roll over white, he's I don't fucking know. It's something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, right. Because like the sharks have this protective layer, like
Right.
eyelid thing they put over when they're gonna go in for an attack. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
I'll take irrelevant things for 600, Alex. But
Thanks.
but to that point though too is like um the shark metaphor, the becoming the predator metaphor, right? I just think the next lines are also so
Yeah.
important. In turning divine,
Mm-hmm.
we tangle endlessly. Like there's so many layers to that. So
Yeah.
in turning towards the divine, like in looking up, in turning into the divine is in merging with
Mm-hmm.
the vessel,
Yeah.
right? We tangle endlessly like lovers entwined. So we have the same notion of the unity, the integration of the vessel and the deity,
Right.
right? And it is this erotic, romantic kind of relationship
Mm-hmm.
that between the deity and the vessel. And there is the filling thing too, like the vessel being filled by the divine, like lovers entwined,
Yep.
right? And you will not be mine. So, like, again, this is like a very special, and it's like a limited and special hangout during the night. The
Mm-hmm.
God sleep comes at night.
Special
So,
hangout.
like, yeah, special hang. I'm just watching Netflix and chill
Yeah.
with the vessel. But so give me the night. It's like you will not be mine. Like during the daytime, right? Maybe because there's guardian angels. Maybe because the deity sleep can't come during the daytime.
Right.
So give me the night, the night, the night. So this time that's going to be ours.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and then just build the night, the night,
Right.
the night. Come fuck.
But also,
Uh-huh.
as he starts singing about this, he goes into these lines about the entwining and all of that. This fades in again.
Mm-hmm. And it builds, yo.
So what that theme that I was talking about, representing the merging and intertwining of the two, there's like, it's another mimetic
Mm-hmm.
musical arrangement sort of a thing.
A synesthetic mimetic
Yeah.
device.
You got another rhyme to toss on there. That'd be nice. But yeah, that's
Diabetic.
we'll try again later. Okay. I'm just gonna let it play out then, unless you have something else you want to say, because I just want to
No,
hear
I
the rest
think
of the
that's-
song.
I just think it's just interesting too. Just the last thing I'll say about the lyrics and the myth, right? Is this the second verse or the post-chorus, right?
Mhm.
As the song concludes, begins being voiced between the refrains. It
Oh,
comes
yeah.
back in, and so I just think it's, I mean, again, beautifully done. But this whole, the ritual, the transformation, the lovers entwined, the merging, the integration comes back in as the song finishes out
Right.
with the repetition of the hook or the chorus.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. And then, I mean, I guess the only other thing I haven't really talked about is the guitars. There's not like it's not a crazy complex thing, but like the rhythmic treatment that the guitars get in the arrangement, I think it's kind of unique. It's sparse, but like fills in. I'm trying to think if there's some kind of an analogy I can draw. It's almost like yeah, I don't have a good one. Yeah, sorry, failed.
It's unique.
Well, yeah, I mean it's unique, but like they're heavy, distorted guitars, but they're just kind of like adding some like an extra level of breath, like air and depth to the mix. They're not like you would find in a lot of metal and heavier music where the guitars are really kind of the driving thing that like pushes the song forward. They're more relying on like the drums and on this like thicker texture of all of these vocals and synths and stuff. So it's they kind of fit in with the rest of the mix rather than being the dominant thing, which is an interesting and kind of tricky thing to do with guitars because they do take up so much of the frequency spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
especially distorted guitars. And I think that the rhythms that they've chosen to use for the guitars just lend themselves really well to making that happen, where the guitars fit in with the rest of the mix and the arrangement rather than dominating everything. Because they just have these like sort of stabs into the texture rather than being these long, sustained or repeated heavy lines. So I don't know.
So kind of in the same manner as the drums that Vessel 2 is playing accentuate or fill the vocals and never overpower or override them. The guitars are everything is working like in unison to complement the overall effect without anything
Right.
overriding it.
Yeah.
Except the vocals and lyrics are kind of like the driving inertia and everything is punching it up.
Yeah. Right. Everything's just placed exactly right for that all to work well together. And if it wasn't balanced out just the right way, it would just fall apart. Yep. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So
Hit it up. Damn. It's like the complete richness and fullness when you have the drums, the vocals, the harmony that's doing the lines from the post chorus, and
sorry.
everything right there before it reverts back to the opening theme. Like, it's just so perfectly mixed. Everything is just
Yeah.
gives you tinglies.
That it does to me.
I got the tinglies.
Might want to get that looked at.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just scrolling through the video a bit. Some of these landscapes and cityscapes and
And there's that upside down mountain
yeah.
thing that happens at one time.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
There's like I mean, some of the shots you can't really tell. Like, is this right side up? Is it upside down? Is it what?
Hmm. That's right side up.
Yeah. But
That
there's definitely that shot of the upside down mountain.
right, which is very interesting. And the point too, just really briefly as we kind of conclude with this one, is
Yeah.
the idea of the upside down mountain. So again, if we're talking about hierophany, the announcement or the coming of the revealing of the God, the divine to the human, that there's points of hierophany are usually mountains because in ancient times and just if you think about it logically, if gods are up there, right, the closer you can get to the gods, the more likely you are to be able to communicate them. If you look in Greek mythology, Olympus and Knossos, the high mountains are where the gods are. If you look at where the Oracle at Delphi is up in a mountain, in the Bible, Mount Moriah, Moses gets the Ten Commandments on Mount Moriah. Abraham goes up and sacrifices Isaac on Mount Moriah. Like it's all.
He doesn't sacrifice.
Well,
He's gonna.
Yeah, he's fitna. He's about to.
Right.
But the idea that like the points where gods and humans can most closely relate are on mountaintops because that's as close as humans can get to the gods in our temporal realm. And so the idea that there's an inverted mountain is also very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just in notion of that kind of seeking, and again, with like lovers entwined, like the idea of this unity of man and deity. That, yeah, just
Yeah.
it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the symbolism of an inverted mountain. That's interesting. Is that like the god come down, or is it like, I don't know, like a connection with the gods of the underworld, or like,
I mean, it could. I mean, it could be either. I think that it might be a gesture. I mean, it could be a notion of the underworld if you look, especially if you're looking like Greek mythology or in like Dante's Inferno or Dante's Divine Comedy.
hmm,
The idea there are like realms and like it's kind of like purgatory is a mountain, but hell's kind of or the Inferno is kind of an inverse mountain. There are circles and levels to it. It
hmm,
could represent that. It could represent the divine feminine because it's like a reverse
hmm.
phallus. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of potential things, or maybe it's just like the editor had a little too many drinky drinks and was like, click, 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 click. Oh wait, fucking leave it. It looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, or I
I
mean,
doubt.
it
I
could just
doubt
be
that.
like an inversion of the normal order. There it is. There's that mountain.
Oh, interesting. Ryan has a good comment. He says, "Is the top just what we see, but it's more like an iceberg? So as above,
Hmm,
so below." Oh,
hmm,
as above, so below. We can talk about that. The as above, so below thing talk is reeks of Gnosticism. And there's a lot of interesting Gnostic mythology like stuff going on here too. Not with this song necessarily, but in general. That we'll put a pin in that. If that's what
yeah.
you. But yeah, the iceberg. The idea that there's
I
you
mean, I
know.
I do think that there's a fair bit of Gnosticism going on in this song.
Well, I know, but we already belabored it long enough.
Yeah, I know. Right. Brian, you just bring up Gnosticism right at the end.
Son of a bitch.
We do another 3 hours on
On
Gnosticism, and
Gnosticism.
the night does not belong to God.
I mean,
Uh,
the angels and the whole idea of the demiurge and like that. It's all
it's all
fucking right
there.
there.
It's all there. You know what? Yeah. Well
Ah,
done, Ryan. Good job.
thanks, asshole. No, we appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Spot on once again.
All
Uh,
right.
cool. Well, I don't think that I'm going to be able to do another whole song.
You son of a.
Sorry.
You can do half of one?
I don't know if we could do that. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Well, I
'Cause
guess let's talk
I'm
about Gnosticism then.
about to have a baby, so we'll get
Well,
through
you're
half of
not.
this song and then pick up on the second half in 3 weeks.
Honey, we
or
gotta
whatever.
go.
Yeah.
This one's a short one. What is it? It's
The Offering?
oh yeah, the offering.
That's not a short one.
Ouch. Well, it's not the longest one.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be a short one to talk about for sure.
Oh fuck. Okay, so Gnosticism it is then, huh?
I guess.
Yeah, come on, Scarlet. Everybody says, come on, bro, do the offering.
Uh,
Come on, the baby will love it. The baby will be.
okay.
I mean, you should I'll kill the goat in the backyard if you do the offering to make sure a healthy birth is ensued.
All right. All right. I'll make a deal. Okay. I don't
Okay.
think that we're going to be able I don't think I will feel great about the coverage that we'll be able to do with the song. So I think we can go through it, hit some of the main points, and then maybe start the next episode with it, or maybe
Okay.
figure out some other, like, carry on the conversation about the song afterwards, like in the comments,
ch-
in the shorts.
The chat saying just play the fucking offering, dude. Just fucking play it.
Fine.
And commentary will come as it comes.
All right, fair enough. You win.
Democracy's a son of a bitch. Oh yeah, Scarlett says Scarlett's been up for 14 hours and is on energy drinks. They live in Tokyo. So they said if they can do it, you can do it.
No, it's more about I just need to go make sure my wife's not in labor and all that. Like,
Oh well, I think she'd let you know.
I told her to let me know, but she likes to give me her space
She's that
sometimes.
polite. She's just that polite.
I'll just wait. Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right.
You are a garden entwined with all. You are the silence on sacred shores. You've got diamonds for teeth, my love. So take a bite of me just once. I want to turn the page once again. Oh, take a bite. This is again an offering in your favor, a sacrifice in your name. But I know you've got a taste, so just take a bite of me. Turn the page once
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
I guess we should say something about it.
Well, I was gonna wait till this. So you. Okay, fine. Say something.
Yeah.
Just fuck me.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
It's so good.
Say musical things.
Yeah. So a lot of it is built on top of this. It's called an ostinato is the technique. So it's a repeated pattern that sometimes they transform a little bit as they repeat, but usually it's just going to be the exact same thing repeated. So it's do it. That thing. So that I mean, that lends itself to all kinds of cool musical experimentation. So it can build, it can sustain. It's a great, great little figure. And again, not super complex. It's just kind of built around, I think we're in G flat. So yeah, might be in a mode. Could be in like B flat Phrygian or something like that. But that's no. It has kind of a modal. So like, yeah. A mode is basically, like, in simple terms, we talked about a scale in one of the previous podcasts. It's a collection of notes that you use to build a song from. So it's the thing that defines if we're in a key. The collection of notes defines what it means to be in that key, and that collection of notes is called a scale. If you take, for example, this one is in like G flat. So the scale of G flat major has this recognizable do, re, mi sound. But if you were to start that scale on a different note than do, then that's what a mode is. So in this case, if we start the scale of G flat, but we start instead of on G flat, we start on B flat. Has a totally different character to it. So that's what a mode is. And I think this song has that B flat Phrygian sort of a thing going on with it. That's just my
real quick Phrygian.
So these modes take their names from ancient Greek tribes and city-states. So Phrygia being one of those. So the modes are Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Locrian. I feel like I missed one. What do I do? Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. Nope, that's it. So those are the 7 modes of the major scale. So Phrygian being the 3rd mode of the major scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of Spanish folk music, flamenco music, uses a lot of Phrygian mode. So it has this kind of like minor, sort of a darker kind of a character to it. It's an interesting sort of a sound. I like it a lot. And I'm saying that at least parts of this song are kind of leaning heavily into that mode.
No, absolutely. I think it's interesting too. This is something that I was considering as well, because there's obviously a lot of mythic import here. So if we're in the Phrygian mode, Phrygian, the Phrygian culture had a lot of very specific, interesting rituals and deities associated with it. For one thing, they didn't build temples usually. They had like engraved monolithic monuments, and basically they were like outdoor, either caves that were carved into rock faces or freestanding megaliths that had the carvings and places of worship. And so that's an interesting thing for like the Phrygian religious culture.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where might I look to find information about that besides Wikipedia? Phrygian monolith. I don't know.
You can look up. So there's the Phrygian goddess Matar, Cybele. Let me find the actual. Wikipedia, yeah, but there's also a site that's general information about Phrygian monuments. Here, I'll put a link in the chat.
Okay, cool.
And it actually has some really cool like schematics or like diagrams of different Phrygian monuments, both when they were completely freestanding outdoorsy and also when they started building temples later on after the 8th century.
Okay, yeah. Oh, rock-cut tombs also Phrygian. So the rock-cut monuments of Phrygia, there's an article I just found. Let's see.
And there's the Karakuyu temple, 27 100-year-old temple complex near Denezeli, containing sacred cave twin idols and libation channels for rituals,
Very cool. So
and
Phrygia
specifically
is
Phrygian.
um these days Phrygia, the place that was Phrygia or that region is now within Turkey, is
Turkey,
it? Yeah.
yes. It's now within Turkey. Yeah, so it would have been one of the colonies. So it would have been one of the Greek colonies that was planted after the conquering of Troy in the Trojan Wars.
Okay.
So right across the Hellespont from Greece proper.
Okay. Very cool. I'll have to do more
Yeah, we'll come
background
back with
reading
all
on
that.
Phrygia. It's very cool. It's all super interesting and
Well, after you brought up the Phrygian thing, I was like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
shit, I know about Phrygian indeed. Okay.
nice. Yeah, that interesting connection to make. I hadn't really thought about it being in the Phrygian mode until now. I was just thinking like, oh, these notes make G flat major, but listening to it, I'm like, that sounds a little more Phrygian.
Well, it
than
sounds a little Phrygian.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yes. And okay, so then this song, in contrast to The Night Does Not Belong to God, is guitar driven. And is one of those it's like low tuned 8-string guitar, and I'm pretty sure like the guitar is playing down like in the range where the bass guitar would normally be, and sort of this is kind of a heavier modern metal technique where the bass and the guitars are playing like at the same pitch level.
Right.
This like Meshuggah, there's another metal band that does that a lot and kind of pioneered a lot of that technique. And there's like a whole guitar tuning that people refer to as the Meshuggah tuning because it does well for that thing.
Okay.
But yeah, low tuned guitars, heavy, really consistent rhythm, and yeah, it's just one of my. I mean, God, they're all my favorite songs. So I don't know.
Right, no, it's
this is my favorite song, just like the last one.
and the one before that.
Right.
But no, just the very interest, like the different, I guess, like you were saying, like the guitar is very forward in this arrangement.
Yeah.
Even though it still has that basic, those piano tones that you were the mode, the Phrygian mode, and the piano, and those very concrete, distinct tones that kind of build the theme for everything. The guitars kind of take over and drive it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, and then that ostinato, that figure comes back every time that it builds up again back into the guitar stuff, and yeah, in every one of those.
Is it good?
Sorry. No.
Was the guitar stuff built on the same ostinato? Is it built on the same figure as the ostinato bit is?
You could probably find some relationship, but it's not immediately obvious that.
Okay.
There, yeah, the guitar thing is more like. Let's see if I could just figure this out right now. I don't know. It's like. Ooh, that's grungy.
Yeah, it is.
So, kind of. I mean, it's in the same key, so it's the same general collection of notes, but not really. No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, it starts with a little bit more. The notes are closer together, and in the ostinato, it's always jumping back down to that B flat.
Mm-hmm.
So there's sort of like the actual moving part of the figure is that, which is not. It's not really. There may be some kind of like inverse relationship you could find there. I don't want to reach too far into it, but
sure.
Yeah. If there is a relationship, it would be between that moving part, and it's broken up by the leaps back down to the B flat.
Okay.
So
neat.
So maybe there could be something in there, but at that point, it's just like every song that's written in a key, you're going to be able to dig into and find similar relationships because they're all built on the same notes. So, yeah. probably there's nothing obvious there beyond that to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. And then like the only other, because I don't want to. Yeah. The only other thing that I'd really point out at this point is just like in the drum parts. I'm just pointing this out because I love it. Like the way that he builds things up, and then rather than doing like a full dropout to sort of like push us into the next section like they do in previous songs, there's just this like really clean snare drum hit that like that's the thing that launches us into the next section. So the drums are doing some kind of a build, and then it's the drum build that drops out, but it hits this like very perfectly placed snare drum hit, and then that's that's the thing. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to listen more before we talk about words?
Let's go back a little bit because I want to hear this build up we almost got to, and then we'll do words.
Very cool. Let's try randomly there.
That's that snare drum hit right there.
Yeah, okay, so I inadvertently picked the perfect spot to illustrate what I was talking about. Okay, I'm going to back up just a couple more seconds so we can hear the build more.
Yep.
Yeah, there.
And everybody listen for that snare hit. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That the ending of that song is Scarlett says best percussion I've heard in a while. No shit, Scarlett. Amen.
So good.
And just the build of the dan or like the way that the guitar picks that up and just like
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes.
Freaking amazing.
It's the whole thing.
All right.
Incredible.
So let's lyric for a second here.
Yeah. That's weird.
So especially, and this is, I haven't done the deep dive into the Phrygian stuff, especially, but I know that their primary deity they worship, which was kind of interesting because they kind of deviated from the normal Greek pantheon. So they prioritized a mother goddess, Cybele, and that was their primary goddess. Eventually, as more Hellenistic Greeks came over, they ended up incorporating Zeus and yada yada yada. But they were mostly a fertility mother goddess worshiping called Matar or Cybele is the mother goddess. And so I think whether or not we're dealing with Phrygia specifically, but the opening line here, "You are a garden entwined with all," is a very feminine deity, mother goddess type of line. That the female is a garden; it's entwined with it all. The way the earth is entwined with it all. It's kind of like in a Pachamama, in a Gaia sort of sense. But basically, there's nothing that the deity, which is the fertility, which is the spring and the growing of plants and the crops and the birthing of livestock and the birthing of humans, etc., are all kind of under control and under the caprice of the fertility deity. In this case, female fertility deity, I would say. You are a garden entwined with all. Like it's kind of like the Force. It's in this and then moves through us, young Padawan, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's this like life-sustaining force that also must be sacrificed to and renewed, because especially in ancient myth and ritual and fertility cult and ritual, like the fertility of the land and the crops doesn't come for free.
Right.
You need to sacrifice to it, and in various ways, in various cultures, usually involves the taking of some life or some blood in order to do that, whether it's the king gets chopped up and buried with the corn, whether it's the virgins who get sacrificed, a chosen virgin gets sacrificed, whatever, depends upon where you're at. And I think also the imagery in the music video at the beginning kind of has this very Stravinsky Rite of Spring, sacrificing the virgins, dancing around in the loincloths of the yaks you've sacrificed, shamanistic vibe to it. And so I think that that's just, again, perfect and beautiful. The next line, "You are the silence on sacred shores." I think that is it's one of my favorite lines, because there's the idea, again, just like there are sacred spaces, whether they're monolithic totems or temples, that there are sacred islands. You'll notice this in the Odyssey. In fact, where the entrance to the world of the dead is, and you have to sail north past the farthest place that man has gone and keep sailing north through the Dead Sea, and then you'll end up on the land, which is the Isle of the Dead. And there, like, everything is silent until you begin the ritual and the libations to call out the shades from the underworld. So the idea that the sacred shores, whether it's the Isle of Cumae, where the Cumaean Sibyl, the Latin, the Roman prophetess lives, whether it's Crete, whether it's the island of the underworld, there are sacred places that you go to commune with the divine in the same way as you would have a temple or a monolithic totem. And the idea that the silence on sacred shores, like, you go there, you better, I mean, it's a place of reverence. And to configure the deity as being the garden entwined with all and being present in the silence on sacred shores, like, that's just such a beautiful image and metaphor for the deity and this offering and the sacrifice. Like, it's just so poetically perfect.
Yeah. And, like, one of the things that's striking to me about, like, not just how well written this is, but the way that it's performed also. This, like, well, I mean, there's an idea that comes up later on, but it's like he can't stop himself. Like, the lyrics of one line overlap rhythmically with where the next line should start. so he's kind of like he can't stop moving right on into the next line. And so even though there's so much in each of these lines that you'd maybe like to have some time to sort of soak it in and think about it for a moment, he gives you no opportunity. And it's just each of these lines, one after another, you just sort of like inundated with all of this meaning.
And there's a level of that compulsion and that drive and that inertia that goes with like shamanistic ritual as well, where the vibe, the song, the music starts like driving you forward, compels one, like, so it's almost becomes automatic at some point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's that. There's like he uses this frenzy as
Mm.
a an important metaphor or concept in later songs. And this is kind of like, this is what it seems to me, is he's like getting into that mode of frenzy, which is this kind of ritualistic sort of you work yourself into the ritual. It's a good book called Deep Listeners by Judith Becker, for anyone who
Thank God
wants
you
to.
didn't say Judith Butler.
Nope. Pretty sure it's Judith Becker. It's been a while
Okay.
since I just double check that.
Deep Listening by Judith
Deep
Becker. Okay.
Listeners.
Is it about
Yeah,
a
Judith
deep
Becker.
listener? Is it
Deep
about
Listeners.
musical and myth, or what is it?
It's about it takes a couple of case studies of some different cultural areas, and the ritualistic use of music and especially rhythm to get into an altered state of consciousness.
Oh, cool.
And usually in those cases not involving any kind of substance use, like no psychedelics or anything like that, but just drumming, repeated rhythmic figures, overwhelming the senses with sound, to kind of work into a certain state of consciousness. And a part of her argument, if I'm remembering it, again, it's been a while, I think that she argues that this is something that you typically would have to be like brought up in the cultural space in order to participate in that ritual. Like there's a certain kind of cultural encoding that is involved in that, but there are other studies that show maybe not, it's not necessarily true, that is sometimes like bystanders who are not even actually participating in the ritual will be overcome by all that, like tourists who are just watching or something like that will be overtaken by the spirits of the ritual or the, whatever is going on. And that can
Right,
be
but if
dangerous.
one has been culturally brought up in it, they're more attuned, it's more available to them, but some people,
Yeah, or
regardless of their
they grew up and know the process in order to repeatedly enact it. I think is more how I
that
would
makes
phrase
sense.
it. Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's that frenzy thing going on, and then the next line, I think, before I interrupted you or whatever is happening right now, where he returns to the teeth, the jaws. You've got diamonds for teeth, so take a bite of me. And then it's this, what you were talking about with this fertility goddess thing. It's really common for gods and goddesses of life and fertility to either also be the gods and goddesses of death, or to be like in a romantic pairing with the gods of death, so that there is this like death and renewal thing that's intertwined. And so like you are the life, you are all of this stuff, but also like, here I am, I'm the offering, take a bite of me, because we want to get into the next cycle, start the next cycle, turn the page, which is also one of the most musically beautiful lines, the way he delivers that. Hopefully the vocal isolation thing will work, because I want to hit that.
Isolate,
Yeah. Just incredible.
No, totally. And I think this thing too is like, so we look at like gods that are pairings of life and death. So you have the Persephone, Hades in the Greek tradition. You have, as we talked about last or two times ago in Calcutta, you have Holly and Halika and Vishnu and Arjuna, like the pairing of Halika, the goddess of lust and death, and then you have Kali is both life bringer and death bringer too, and the
Mhm.
demon is Kali. So you do have these pairings because there is this duality, like and especially with feminine deities, right? The idea that they are both the eternal mother and also the also like overly protective, so much that they'll kill you to keep you close to them.
Hmm.
Uh, and so there's like the aggressive um, hostile feminine as well as the life bringing mother feminine that's part of these fertility goddesses and rituals.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And well, I mean, it's related, but it's maybe another tangent. I mean, the this
Sure.
area of the world that we're talking about, this like Black Sea,
Mhm.
Eastern Greece area that in Turkey now, and like up in that area, that's where a lot of these like women led uh cults, and not in a negative term, but just like these specific religious groups, like folk religious groups from ancient Greece and stuff. Cult is the word for those. Um, that like they were most often um, led by women, and it was
Mhm.
also um, often the case that like certain rituals like men weren't allowed to participate in, or that like you had to be of a specific status, like you've worked your way up to be an initiate in the ritual, or often they were like what like the horse people, the the like the
Mongols?
Pythian
Oh,
tribes, yeah, the
yes, the Scythians and the
Scythian,
Pith. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But like eh, their stories go anyways that they would like raid towns and then have poisoned arrows and would like paralyze men and use them in order to like get pregnant and then kill them.
Hmm.
And that's where like there's a connection to Medusa and the like turning someone to stone, with like the gorgon hair of snakes and all that stuff, because the poisons that they would use in these arrows involved the combination of many snake venoms and stuff like that. So there's a whole other thing that probably didn't do a great job of like trying to encapsulate that, but I think that's also there's like it's in that same area. If we're finding this connection to Phrygia,
Hmm.
um, that was all kind of going on there in ancient Greece, pre-Roman and early Roman times, also. Like,
Yeah, and it's if you think about the word cult, like cult is from the Greek cultus. It means it's the same root as culture.
mm,
So it's a set of beliefs, a set of practices, and a cult is a codified set of beliefs and practices. The same way a culture
right,
is those things. Only cult is more of a microcosm of like specific initiates. And so like the island of Lesbos is one of the places where these female-driven cults
yeah.
existed, and there's a special freaking name for them that I forgot. Not Lucidian, but some maybe is it Lucidian?
You're talking about
Lucidian mystery,
the
Lucidian mystery
Eleusinian
cults.
mystery.
Oh yeah, Lucidian, yeah, Lucidian mystery cults is a
Well,
one flavor of these, right?
yeah. I mean, that was like the specific one. That was the big one at Eleusis. But
Right.
yeah, they were similar, like Dionysian, like this Dionysus and Persephone relationship that was enacted in a lot of these cults.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yes, that. But I think that's the big one. The Eleusinian mysteries, it's mystery cults, and the mystery is referring to like the initiation process. It's not like right now we think of mystery as like this hidden, understood, secret sort of thing. Like it's a mystery, but um,
Mm.
the Greek word I think is mysterion, and it's the
Hmm.
root of the word music,
Hmm.
and medicine and all. They're all related to the name of Medea, who was the first priestess in the mythology. Um, so yeah. Anyways, there's a whole other conversation there that maybe
No,
we
most
just know.
definitely. And the idea too is like the idea of these cults or whatever too, or these societies that are part of the mystery cults or the mystery rituals is part of that too, is it's um led by a priestess and kind of passed down, and it's not for the populace. Like you have to be initiated into the specific practices and rituals in order to participate in the celebration and the offerings and the sacrifices of. You can't just be like a stranger walking up to the freaking
Right.
temple, or they'll fucking kill you.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
and so that's part, it's something set aside from proper society. It's also conducted in distant places, in groves or
Hmm.
islands or shrines, and also usually at nighttime.
Hmm.
And so it is hidden away to keep, and because that's the difference. I mean, if we think about what is sacred, sacred is that which is set aside by definition. It's that which is taken away from normal life, normal culture, normal society, and made special by its separation from the mundane,
Hmm.
from the profane.
Yeah.
And so that's what makes a religion or a cult a cult.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go see if I can find. Sorry, I'm leaning away from my microphone. I'm gonna go see if I can
It's okay.
find that the end of that first verse and do some vocal isolation stuff there because I want.
Sweet, sweet.
Let's see here.
I'll talk a little bit about Gnosticism while you do that.
Cool.
Just why not? So Gnosticism is a very interesting set of beliefs, and it predates Christianity. Usually, like Zoroaster is sometimes thought of as one of the first teachers of Gnosticism to codify it, but it goes back before even Zoroaster. But there are different flavors of Gnosticism, and there are so I want to differentiate real quick. There are like Christian Gnostics that was a whole heresy in Christianity during the early part after the death of Christ.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not talking about the Christian Gnostics who have a different kind of belief about Christianity.
Hmm.
That's a whole separate bucket of Gnostics.
Right.
Gnosticism, as a general belief, is the idea that there is a God that created the earth, but that God is not a good dude.
Hmm.
Basically, he has us trapped in both a false earth and a false consciousness. And so he's not really a god, he's what's called the demiurge, which is a malevolent force that is keeping us entrapped with our own consciousnesses, within our own consciousnesses, within our own bodies, and within the material world around us. And so the Gnostic tradition is one that, through gaining access to secret knowledge or through knowledge that is handed down through from those who've attained it before you, kind of like an initiation and then a gaining knowledge, you learn that in fact the reality and the deity that created the world is not your friend, it's an enemy, and you're in a prison. And through raising your consciousness through different levels of meditation, of recognizing the truth and of realizing what's out there beyond the demiurge's false creation,
Hmm.
that you can elevate your consciousness to free yourself from the false reality of consciousness, of the body, of temporal existence, and become the god or the quasi deity or the elevated consciousness that you could be, your potential could be, and stop being held back down by the demiurge, who people oftenly mistakenly worship as a god because they don't understand the higher level of knowledge that everything is kind of an entrapped lie, false consciousness, false reality. And so to escape that is kind of the point of Gnosticism through transferred given knowledge about what lies beyond the false reality, false consciousness we all live in. That's like a 50-second primer on Gnosticism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, like there are spots. This is my understanding of it, just to like see if this is helpful.
Mhm.
Because there's some stuff in there that overlaps with, or it, to my understanding, is really only present in like early Christian Gnosticism, like the demiurge thing specifically.
Hmm.
The thing about the Gnostic cults predating Christianity is this contrast between gnosis, which is the Greek word for knowledge gained through personal firsthand experience,
Mhm.
and episteme. I'm pronouncing that wrong. Episteme.
Yeah.
Which is like intellectual, scientific knowledge that you've learned secondhand from somebody, from a teacher, from reading, from those sorts of things, and that this knowledge of like the deeper reality that we inhabit, or the like leaving Plato's cave sort of knowledge, that's the gnosis, that you have to go through the initiation and experience it for yourself in order to really understand it. And it's not the type of knowledge that one person can give to someone else. Is that you have to go through the process and through the initiation and die and be reborn in order to have that firsthand experience and gain the gnosis yourself.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like the like, in addition to all the stuff that you said, like the main clarification that I'm just trying to make there is that the mystery, the initiation, the firsthand knowledge is really the thing that differentiates it from the sort of like spirituality or religion that you would just gain from growing up in a culture.
Right. So it's lived experience. It's not dogmatic. It's not, there's no sacred book of Gnosticism. Well, there are people who wrote books about Gnosticism, but there's no like, believe in these things and you'll get enlightenment. It's all about your lived experience and um, gaining knowledge through that sort of like direct interaction.
Yeah, through enacting a process of initiation, so that you gain access to the knowledge firsthand. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
Do you isolate the vocals?
I think so.
Son of a gun.
It's the right spot. You gonna work?
You are a garden entwined with all. You are the silence on sacred shores. You've got diamonds fatigue, my love. So take a bite of me just once. I want to turn the page once again. Oh.
Yeah. So here, this is just the lead.
To turn the
Oh, wow.
page once again. Oh. Take a bite.
So cool. And then
Yeah.
just the background.
Whoa.
Yeah. Just beautiful. I mean, like his head voice control and just like the type of like resonance and delicateness that he's able to balance out is just incredible. So good.
Yeah. I'm
And then here's a full track.
Turn the page once again. Oh, take a bite.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Man. Okay. Cool. Well, I don't know if I have anything earth-shattering else to share about the music. I just wanted to hear that part because I like it.
No, it's freaking beautiful. And again, like it's the process in the studio, like it's so fucking perfectly integrated. It's complementary, and the way that the harmonies just blend, it's like freaking,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah, man. George
So-
Lever's genius.
Yes, the levers of power.
Mm-hmm.
So just really briefly on the lyrics of the second verse a bit. We'll get to this more as we go onward, and we've talked about it before, and going back to Jaws and back to Nazareth and back to Jarek, basically everywhere. And you know, the idea, the importance of the sacrifice being consumed, of the imbibing, the embodying, the consuming of that which is sacrificial, either by the deity or by the acolyte who's consuming sacred vessel, like be it a host in the Catholic tradition, which is the body and blood, right? Whether it's a different sort of
Whoa.
like the go ahead.
I was just like the Dionysian cults, like the psychedelic consciousness altering substances that were offered in like the Eleusinian mystery and the other Dionysian cults was also the body and blood of Dionysus. But this is like where we get the term enthusiasm, is that the altered state of consciousness was interpreted as literally embodying the god by ingesting the god who was like, the wine or the beer or whatever it was that they were drinking that had this psychedelic effect was thought of as like a physical embodiment of the god, as the god's flesh and blood, and as you ingest that, the god inhabits you. And so that word enthusiasm from theos, the entheos is the god inside. So the enthusiasm is kind of where that whole concept comes from. And that's so sorry to interrupt you, but
no, you're fine.
So
you're fine.
in the Catholic and Christian tradition, but like it also much before that, and in the same cultural area, like there are important aspects of like what developed into the Catholic Mass and all of that stuff that comes straight out of these mystery cults, and the ingestion of the body and blood of the god, and the parallels between Dionysus and Jesus are intentional. Yeah,
and between a lot of other savior resurrected gods, be they drowned gods or be they hung gods, also are very much in line with the typos of Christ. And the same thing with the sacrifice and the renewing of, like, not necessarily gaining immortal life, but renewing of the land, getting life for the society and the culture. And things too, back with the Lucidian mysteries as well, is one of the things they would do that was a psychedelic was argot, which is a toxic fungus that grows on wheat. And they would particularly gather the ergot infected grains and bake them into bread products of some sort and pass those out, as well as the drinks that had ergot in them during these fertility cults too. So there is something that's very essential about the biting, take a bite of me, take a piece of my like that represents the inhabiting of the divine within the human,
Mm,
and also that the sacrifice or the offering needs to be accepted by the god.
right.
And so offering your body up to be dismembered or to be consumed is part of the whole gesture.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like part of the Gnostic ritual, like the death and rebirth part of it is that the substances that were given to people, and this is controversial, and there's a guy who's making a big deal about this right now, but his Greek is pretty spot on, and he's got the sources to back it up. His name's Dr. DC Amon Hillman. He wrote a book called The Chemical Muse and a couple others, but he's kind of a controversial guy, little crazy in his affect, but manic in a good way. But anyways, so what he's pointed out is that these rituals often involve these multi-component drugs that were made up of a death inducer. So these drugs literally would kill you if they weren't balanced out by an antidote. So they had a dotos and an antidotos. And by using them together, you are able to induce a death state and then keep someone alive or bring them back from death. And some of the ways that these drugs were given or applied was as ointments or as some kind of a tincture or something that would be rubbed into the skin or the eyes. And that process is the verb is chrio, which is where the word Christ comes from. So these people were so we have dotos and antidotos, and we also have a Christos and an antichristos. So the Christ and the Antichrist are the dote and the antidote. So these things balance each other out. And so this death and rebirth process was often involved Christing someone and then saving them with the Antichrist.
Right.
Which is, yeah, a lot of people don't like that idea, and that maybe the use of those terms in Christian, early Christian documents that were written in Greece and right around the time of all of these things happening might have been referring to some kind of a ritual involving drug use and death and rebirth, and that
It seems to be.
But yeah,
But I mean, whether or not I mean, I think what you're saying is linguistically true. Whether or not the dogma and the theology that's been attached to those terms means something different now culturally, and people are pissed about that, doesn't negate the fact that, like, at a etymological level, that's a practice.
yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. That's my perspective on that, basically. But that can, and maybe if the appropriate follow-ups are done to just double check all of that stuff, but what I've seen of the sources that he's put out there seems to really check out, and it makes a lot of this stuff makes a lot more sense if you think of it with that context in mind. But yeah, so I think that that's relevant to all of this because of the death and rebirth and the ingestion of the god ingesting the sacrifice, but also there is this like mirroring of that on the other side, is that there's this like mutual taking in of each other sort of going on, and the turning of the page, the death and rebirth, the sundowning, transition in and out of
the new
night.
cycle, the new fertility, the new life bringing, turning the page on the old year, the old chapter.
Right.
I think the interesting thing too is, like, you need, oftentimes, depending on which ritual and which whether it's a fertility cult that has a hanged god or a buried god or a drowned god, the idea that there has to be a sacrifice first to summon the deity.
Yeah.
which is usually a blood sacrifice. And then once the deity is there, other things happen. Like you can like take in the deity through consuming the deity. You can plant the deity. Like once this person is sacrificed, the king is sacrificed, for example, in some cultures, and then the god inhabits the king's body, and you cut the king up and you put him in the ground where you're planting your corn, and then the corn grows and you eat the corn. You're eating the god who inhabited the king's body, who was sacrificed to summon the god,
Yeah.
for example.
Metal.
Totally metal. So I think the second verse is just really kind of just keying out that again. It's a given offering. I like that line though. It's a given, and if this is a given, an offering in your favor, a sacrifice in your name, just an offering in your favor is so
Right.
interesting of a line. Well, maybe we won't break it down all down now, but
Yeah.
it's the same idea of the summoning of the god and the consuming of the god, while the god consumes you as a sacrifice. It's all what we're talking about. It's right packed in there.
Right. And like this also the kind of like paradox of the name thing that like early on, like in that first interview, that like the actual name of the god sleep is this unpronounceable thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it also seems to be somehow intricately important to this ritual. There's something about the name that keeps on coming up. So yeah, that
Right.
is interesting. And then back to Jaws again. Like I know you've got a taste, so take a bite of me. Is like this is the caged predator, just like waiting for the opportunity. It's, there's this dance going on of like being offered as a sacrifice and some kind of mutual gain. Yeah, it's all in there.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I suppose we'll let you go have that baby.
Much appreciated. I'll just be helping out. I'm not actually.
Well, you just be there, just witnessing it.
Yeah.
When you got to catch, you get your football gloves on. But so we're probably gonna be taking a break for a little while until everything is the new routine at home with the little one is all cemented away. But we'll be back. So I question for chat because y'all are there. I was thinking of maybe in the meantime, while Owen is being a daddy and having no sleep at all. So you're not going to meet the deity sleep, Owen. Sorry, he's Deus absconditas for the near future. But I was thinking maybe I could do either a live or just a recorded videos where I would kind of go over just like kind of in a short form, like a myth. So like, for example, like the myth of Eucume and Sybil, or like the myth of Isis and Osiris, or if people have ideas of any kind of like set myth they would like discussed, and I'll like put up on, the screen, like passages from Virgil or from Fraser that discuss it. You just kind of give like a 30-minute to 45-minute or maybe 15-minute, like briefing with proper notes and passages cited that discuss a lot of the myths that are going to be at play and have been at play in Sleep Token. Would anybody be interested in watching such a thing to kind of fill time before Owen comes back?
I would be.
And well, there you go. You can put it on at night when you're holding the baby.
Something to do while I can't sleep.
Oh, cool. Scarlett says they'll sacrifice their sleep schedule for my mythological thing. All right, thank you, Scarlett. That's one vote's enough.
Solidarity.
All right. I need very little encouragement.
Awesome.
All right, awesome. Well, I'll post to the community channel about that. Awesome, Ryan. Perfect.
Sweet.
All right. Well, I guess we'll let you go. I was just going to type back to Ryan real quick. We were talking about the first law of thermodynamics and energy changing forms. And he was saying that there's maybe like energy can change or matter can change forms, but sometimes it's a less useful form. And so an example of that, right? Like, okay, if your house catches fire, the materials that were in your house are converted to energy and carbon is produced, right? So like all the energy that was in the materials that were constructing your house changed form, but a pile of ashes and a bunch of smoke and heat in the air is far less useful to you than your house was. So, I mean,
Yep.
but no matter was actually destroyed. It just transferred forms and the energy transferred forms.
Right.
So, so as much as it's subjective to a point, it's also objective that like things that we fashion out of material or things we fashion out of our emotional energies, like relationships, when they're destroyed, that energy doesn't go away. It can go towards hatred or jealousy or envy or internal
Hmm.
problems, right? That energy that was expended in love in the relationship can turn inwards or be expressed outwards as other things. That doesn't mean it's as productive or as good or as valuable as the energy that was the unity between two humans or a human and a deity before that.
Hmm. Amen.
Amen. Ominous Dominus.
Ominous, ominous. Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Very cool.
So, closing thoughts, Owen?
No, just this was fun. Thanks to the people participating in chat, and we'll look
Yeah,
forward to
chat's great. Chat is
seeing
great.
seeing y'all again in the future.
All right. What do you think? 3 weeks ish?
Something like that. We'll see.
All right. All right. Well, if he starts walking before 3 weeks, then I think you can probably come in back early.
Okay, deal.
He'll be playing on the guitar.
There we go. All right.
All right. Well, we'll bid you adieu. I see your comments there. Ryan's is a sacrifice lead or gold in an alchemical sense. I I mean, I think the sacrifice is what produce. It's like what unifies the base stuff with a human element that gives it the higher potential. So I think the sacrifice is what would transform the lead or the dross or the whatever into gold. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
an exact metaphor.
Yeah, I think we'll get back to that later on.
Hmm.
I think it's going to come up again.
All right. Well, on that note, folks, we will bid you adieu. Thank you all so much. Oh, everybody says, welcome, baby. Welcome.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
All
Take
right.
care, y'all.